In our last episode, our heroes did errands. Lots and lots of errands. Bly dropped in on her parents after a decade-long absence. Skara was inducted into the Diligent Order of Paladins, despite the entry exam. And
Despite.
And Tlawyn chose between apprenticeship and school, and went for the option with the potentially cute guy who was made up on the spot. We wrapped up a nice meal, and I assume you dispersed, well, somewhat. Skara and the cat probably went to the Diligent Order, and I think Tlawyn just passed out on the floor. We start now your third day in the city.
I'm probably going to go for both the school and the apprenticeship, if possible.
Trying to juggle both. And an adventuring career?
I have a wisdom of 9 and an intelligence of 16, so I think that would be entirely in character.
I imagine I'm woken up at the crack of dawn, through my years of potato farming, but also because, like, Edward the cat is just like, meow! Because that's what my cat does in real life.
I forgot we named him Edward.
Yeah, he's closed in the room and he has to get out.
I guess I should have put Edward in the letter instead of Mr. Kitty, but I forgot.
You forgot that we gave him a name?
I remembered Mr. Kitty. Anyway, I'm a sleepyhead, so I'll just sleep until somebody wakes me up.
I'm pretty sure we agreed to meet at Bly's house, didn't we?
Okay, well, I'll just be asleep there
until someone accidentally kicks you.
Accidentally, on purpose, whatever.
Yeah, okay. But Skara, you notice that even though you wake up really early, Katahai is already up and in full armor, and she nods to you as you're coming out of your room, and she says, since you're a member of the Diligent Order now, I thought I should tell you the outstanding quests that have been tasked to the Order. The quest singular currently. The current Lathe son, and you, Skara, would know that the Lathe is the elected leader of the Council of Nobles. Currently is Lord Edergal of House Clement. So Katahai is saying that the current Lathe's son is, apparently he thought it would be a good idea to go out adventuring, and
oh no.
while I admire his heroic bent, he has gone missing, and Lord Clement would like to find him discreetly, if possible, since if word spread, it might also endanger his son. So, if you could just be on the lookout for one Leonon of House Clement, and I would be cautious about telling others.
Leonon of House Clement.
Writing things down.
I am. Wow. Can you describe what he looks like? I ask her.
Find out if he's cute.
I hear a whisper in my thoughts, and I'm like, I'm not going to ask that.
He's still asleep.
For some reason, I murmur this in my sleep.
You have some clairvoyance or something.
Just so that, I'm not like walking through the town and suddenly you, Emily, are like, oh, this detail character, and I'm just like,
right, and so you're not just wandering the streets calling out like, Leonon, Leonon,
come here. Got a fresh can of tuna. Oh, wait, that's for Edward. I've got an empty can of tuna.
So she tells you his appearance, like he's in his early mid-20s, tall, fairly thin, with kind of like sandy blonde hair, hazel eyes, and, you know, probably dressed well since he's noble.
Okay. I nod and say, I'll be on the lookout. What should I do if I see him?
What I got from that description is he does sound cute.
Or should I, like, grab him and take him here?
It would be up to your discretion. You can, of course, take him here, and that might be the easiest for you since, you know, none of the nobles would recognize you, and kind of like you might be looked at suspiciously on the streets in their areas. But since he would be with you, you could also just take him directly to House Clement, as long as you could protect him along the way if he needed protecting.
And I'm like, I can sure do that. I'm the good at the protection.
I trust you wholeheartedly.
Oh no. What did you do, Cat Eye?
I will also be looking for him, so I will let you know if I find him.
Okay. Sounds good. I will make sure to keep an eye out for Leonin of House Clement. I'm good. I wrote it down. I'll even put stars next to it so I don't forget. I say, and like 5 minutes from now, I'll be like, oh man, there's something something I had to remember.
I'm sure Ben would put hearts around the name instead.
Okay, so I guess I make me and Edward head back towards Bly's house. Going on an adventure, Edward. Ow!
Okay, so I assume that you all kind of gather at Bly's house.
Yeah, we're gathered around Tlawyn's sleeping body.
Yeah, well, since he slept so long, Bly's parents have already kind of gone off and started their jobs. So you're just kind of both standing there over Tlawyn's sleeping form. I mean, you probably wouldn't be standing too far above him, Skara, but, you know.
And I'm like, oh man, I hate it when he does this. He's really hard to wake up. I've tried everything. You know, tickling, throwing water on him. Nothing works.
He just keeps murmuring, is he cute?
I mean, you please try, Bly, because I don't have any more ideas. I've exhausted all of them.
Can I roll to see if I hit him hard enough to wake him up?
Okay, I assume that would be a contested roll, but I'm not exactly sure what it would go against.
Against sleep.
Versus sleep.
Like, would that be
say
Constitution or?
Okay.
I say Ben has to defend, but gets a penalty because he's asleep.
But I'm defending my sleep itself.
Okay, I rolled 15.
Okay, so what do I roll? Just Constitution mod?
Well, I mean, for one thing, what's your AC?
Oh, so I roll my armor class?
No, I'm just asking, what's your AC?
Oh, it's a 13. Although I
So,
probably don't have my armor on because I'm sleeping,
yeah,
so...
and you wouldn't really be able to avoid it since, I mean, you're asleep and part of armor class is dexterity. But I don't know what I'm doing with this roll. So she automatically hits. The question is whether it actually wakes you up.
Oh, I could roll
Um,
versus search.
What?
Like, or I guess search isn't what it's called anymore, but perception. I'll roll perception to see if I
To see
notice that
whether
I've been
you-
hit.
Okay, to see whether you've realized you've been hit. Okay, go ahead, roll
Okay.
perception.
I rolled a 16. So I think I noticed, right?
Yeah, I think you noticed you were hit.
Okay.
But is he cute? God damn it!
I wake up shouting that. Angrily.
It shouldn't be this funny.
And
Is he cute?
I guess Bly could, since she hit, she could roll for damage if she wants to.
Were you just like kicking him awake? Because that's what I imagined.
Wait, what, do I roll a d10 or a
I say it's probably unarmed, so like
Yeah.
a D4 maybe.
I assume you're not just like taking out a sword and whacking.
Okay, like eh.
I rolled a 2.
Okay. So I'm
we're
down.
we're off to a great start.
Yeah.
So I'm down to 11 hit points.
I heard someone's dice rolling away.
That's mine.
Okay, great start to the day.
Okay.
We see you've done more damage to me than the archer who was trying to kill us did to anybody. Now you know why I like him better.
That is a point. That's a fair point.
Assuming we're nice and filled with breakfast and
Well, I haven't eaten yet.
Tlawyn's pain. Nice and well fed. Screw you, Tlawyn. You could just not eat, I guess. We did say we would visit Pars and Tarsus today, as well as I don't remember if you guys had other errands that you needed to run, but yeah, we should check in with them.
Well, I guess I'll just ask Bly's parthenogenesis mom if I could have like food for the road.
They're
Oh,
already
they're gone.
gone.
We
Oh,
ate
they're
all.
both gone. Oh,
Yeah, remember? Oh wait, you were asleep.
Oh, yeah, they both left for work.
oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask Bly if I could have some food for the road.
She just like whacks you. She like pitches an apple or something at you.
I might have some leftover cold dumplings.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Oh, perfect.
I'll bring some.
Okay.
I'm impressed. You even remembered what you had for supper.
Yeah. I made them with my mom, so they're special to me. So it's special
Aww.
to get with you.
And if you were wondering, Ben, why Kotaro is also gone to work, I mean, basically what it was, she goes to clean a different house every day. She lost one of her contracts, but she still has the other
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking she would be there. Yeah. Yeah,
Cold dumplings even better the next morning.
The flavors have had time to meld inside the dumplings.
oh.
we're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Tom even made a cute, using an online generator picture of Tlawyn with an archer guy. So
Okay, you can send that to me sometime.
the ship is real.
Put it on our Tumblr.
I probably will.
Okay, so are we off to see
The wizard?
the wizard? I think, right? He would be, because he can enchant
Yeah.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
He is a wizard.
okay.
The wonderful wizard of Street.
Yay!
Hey, I have a new bard song.
Oh no, you're going to sing it the whole way there too, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm also going to do the choral part all by myself. Unless you'll sing along with me.
No. Bly doesn't even answer. She's just like...
I'll just try to work on my ability to sing more than one part at the same time.
Good luck with that.
So, I assume we skip down the dirt road. I don't think it's a yellow brick road.
Follow the grungy brown road. Follow the grungy brown road.
Yeah, I mean, you know, different parts of the city have slightly different paving methods, of course, but it's maybe not the best where you're at. Anyway.
Follow the muddy squelch road. Follow the muddy squelch road.
So, I assume you all get to Pars's house,
Yep.
and you have to, you know, kind of do your little messaging thing with him and wait for all the locks to unclick and everything.
Oh, yeah. And I guess I used the message cantrip, which doesn't... Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, did I get my spell slots back after the rest?
Yes,
You
you
did.
did.
Okay, yay, I have 3 whole spells again.
And remember, of course, some of them you can use as rituals if you have the time for it. So, Pars opens the door and peers out at you and waves you in. As you come in, he kind of like holds up a letter and says, I wasn't expecting it this soon, but, well, I guess that my contact at the Aramyth Research Library said that we could actually come in today.
Oh,
That
Okay.
sounds pretty awesome.
yeah.
That'll be a step up on using whatever other library facilities are available to everybody.
So, you'll all have to be on your best behavior.
When am I
Aw.
not? I'm
I don't
always
know why
on
I'm
my best
groaning. I
behavior.
think as a paladin, I'd be like, I love rules.
I love best behavior.
This is my best behavior. Haven't you noticed?
So I'm just like nodding. I'm like, oh yeah.
Because it's very, very nice of my contact to allow you in with me as well. And, yeah, we can go, I guess.
You seem really hesitant and nervous.
He says, well, it's been a while since I, went out that way, I suppose, and, yeah, it's just been a while.
Okay. Well, Trip. Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I'm suspicious.
I'm suspicious too.
What? Of being on your best behavior.
I don't know. I guess I'm always like wary.
I'm
Well-
suspicious of Bly because she attacked me.
I'm just like, Let's go.
It would wake you up.
So, as you walk the streets, some of them are maybe starting to become familiar to you. A light ocean breeze disperses some of the heat of the day, and the racket of the city is loud and joyful. Parse is looking uneasy as he leads you. He's kind of dressed up for this occasion, with pants or trousers for our one known British listener that we'll have, that hang in folds with a wide fitted waistband and a scarf draped across his shoulders. He keeps fiddling with the hem of the scarf, plucking at it or rolling it in his fingers. You eventually come to wider streets with larger buildings that are spaced further apart. It feels like the area where you broke into the Nazra-i-Kai estate, the ambient noise lulled, gilt and greenery adorning the sumptuous spaces.
I also tell him that I like his fancy clothes.
He kind of smiles a little at that, and I'm assuming, Skara, you're wearing your chainmail and everything.
Oh yeah, I haven't even cleaned it.
Yeah, so he smiles at Tlawyn a little bit and then kind of like looks a little worriedly at Skara.
I'm just like, this is fine, right? the blood has just like dried over.
I guess I'm wearing whichever fine clothes are cleanest. I probably don't even have the leather armor on right now for trying to make a good impression.
I notice his look, and I just kind of like spit on my palm and try to like rub away the grime.
You just smear it around a little more.
Hey, how much clothing do lizard people wear? Because like, are they cold-blooded?
I mean, it probably varies depending on the lizard folk. Some of them might wear different outfits. I mean, I'm considering that this port city is a fairly diverse place with all sorts of different styles and everything going on. And it's also fairly warm there as well.
I mean, at the least there's armor, right?
Or armor stuff, but normally I don't know what you wear, Laura. Nothing.
Laura, you get to tell us.
I'm naked. Actually, I never thought of that. I imagine I'm in like loose fitting, like a loose fitting t-shirt and pants, like stuff that's good for traveling.
And your t-shirt has like I heart, I don't know, something witty, but I couldn't think of anything.
Oh.
I was just thinking of like, you know, the sailor tattoos that are like I heart mom or something.
Oh.
It'd be like that.
Aw.
Well, would
I
have
love it.
died.
Yeah. And then you like Sharpied in an extra S.
Yeah.
Oh.
Aw, it's cute. I love it.
It's a magic Sharpie.
Yeah.
It's a magic marker.
Oh man, I remember those. We're getting sidetracked again. Okay, so we come
Sorry.
to this like super fancy place, and some of us are dressed for the occasion.
I'm like, ooh, pretty building.
Yeah, so one of these buildings, in delicately carved white marble, has green and gray silk banners fluttering slightly in the wind, with the two crossed staves of House Amarum.
Which house was that again?
House Amarum?
Yeah, I can't remember any of the house names.
That's the one that hates you.
It's
okay.
Slytherin. You can know by the green and gray banner.
I didn't even think of that. Thanks, Anna.
Okay, so those are the ones that kicked out Elfie Dad, is that it?
Dwarfy Dad.
Dwarfy Dad, right.
Yeah.
Excuse me, well, I can't remember which dad is which either.
in which
Oh,
Ben remembers
man.
nothing about his backstory.
I remember that one of them's a dwarf and one of them's an elf.
But which is which?
I know when you...
Wait, is it
Go
Is
ahead.
it the short one or the tall one who's the dwarf?
Oh, God.
And which is the one with the big beard? Okay, so I should be having a character reaction to this moment.
Like, oh, I don't like these people.
Like, oh, hey, these people. Yeah, I'm supposed to be, like, their, relation. Only they're mean. I want to be friends with them. Only I don't think they want me to be friends with them. This is important, you guys.
You're just saying all this.
Yes, yes, I am. Couldn't you tell that was in character? Well, I mean, I'm saying it more to, like, Skara, probably.
And I'm just like, well, suck it up for now.
I'm like, you know my dad. You know this is the house.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the house. You know the house. I told you about the house. This is the house.
I'm just like nodding patiently, and I'm like, yeah, but
I need to meet these people and tell them that they're mean, but they can be nice if they're nice to me.
okay then. Well,
That's how diplomacy works, right?
I just kind of like reach up and put a hand on your shoulder, and I'm just like, I'm not letting you out of my sight.
Yeah, I assume that Parse has overheard at least some of this, so he kind of like turns towards you and like with a pleading look towards Skara, just kind of mouths best behavior again.
and I just kind of like my grip like goes like yeah, and I'm just like best behavior. I now have an iron grip on your shoulder, Ben. You will have to physically wrestle yourself away if you want to get up to shenanigans.
I belong with these people.
I assume you have to reach up pretty far to do that.
Yeah, my arm's just like, eh.
This is not good for my posture.
Okay.
I want to have good posture when I come in here so they see me and think that I look like a person who has good posture.
Okay, so Parse kind of jerks his hand from his scarf because he was fiddling it with again, and he kind of smooths down his clothes and approaches the gate. There's a sending stone made of rose marble and carved with a bas-relief face set into the gate, and Parse has a quiet conversation with it. He smiles nervously at you when he's done, and again kind of says like best behavior.
Best behavior.
And shortly after that, an ample-figured woman with mid-tone skin emerges from the building. She's graceful in her movements, and as she gets closer, you can see her warm brown hair is neatly braided. She comes up and like opens the gate and greets Parse and is kind of enthusiastic, like, "Oh, Parse, it's been so long since you've been here. It's good to see you again." And he's pretty nervous. He's just a little bit like, yes, thank you so much for doing this for us tonight. It's we need to do some research, and this is very kind of you. The woman Janai is like, oh yeah, well it turned out to be, pretty good timing. It's a good day for it. All the nobles are at the council meeting, and I mean, of course you can come back sometime to do research, even if they're here, but, this way you don't have to go through all those forms and permissions and such, and I know you anyone you bring with you is fine to come in too, so come in. And she kind of like leads you into the building.
I attempt to look nonchalant despite the dwarf hands on my shoulders. And like, do you know some of these nobles quite well? I'd say casually and with an air of affected, as if I'm just like making casual conversation to the person we just met, who I already forgot her name.
Shania.
Yes, Shania.
Yeah, she kind of turns to look at you more fully, and she kind of takes in this kind of tableau of Skara in this kind of gritty, grimy armor, reaching way up, clamping her hand hard on your shoulder, Tlawyn. And to her credit, she doesn't seem to bat an eye. She just kind of takes it in, and she says, well, yes, we get to work with some of the finest minds here at the Amerim Research Library, and we don't see Emira Defaria herself very much, of course, because she's a very busy woman, but I certainly work with different members of the clan.
Do I recognize that name?
She's the head, like, Emerald is a title.
Okay.
She's your grandmother.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, like adoptively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I
So,
mean, you don't have dwarf blood in you, I don't think.
yes.
But he does have potato blood in it.
I think I don't even know what my biological heritage is really, other than that I seem to at least be human enough to have human traits.
Really, you're just a cardboard cutout. Okay, so this person is his grandma. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm assuming you know your own, or at least the name of your own grandmother.
yeah, I mean, I guess we're estranged, so I don't think I would have ever actually met her. But yeah, I'd be like, I'm just gonna whisper in Skara's ear, like, okay, that's my grandma, like,
I mean,
mom.
it's a fairly obvious motion since you have to, like, lean down to do it.
Yeah, and no, he just kind of like looks at me, and I just kind of like lower him at the shoulder.
You know, I have the cantrip message. I'll do it magically. I magically whisper this in your ear with a cantrip.
Oh, sure. Oh, you don't want to do it the other way, where I just kind of like lower you down by a few feet.
I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but I'm still sending it to you magically.
Okay, fine. I won't do that.
Wait, am I privy to this knowledge?
I can send it to you too. It's just like, I don't know if your character really knows about. I don't remember if I ever talked about that or not.
I probably wouldn't really know.
Okay. Well, but yeah, I'll send you the message too. I'll send Parse the message too.
he kind of jumps a little bit. So you're kind of in the library now. If you'd like to make a perception check, you could.
Sure.
Oh, that's not ominous at all.
I rolled 19. I was very close to that nat 20, but I got that 19, which I think is still pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I guess because of the jack of all trades thing, I get to add one to all proficient skills. I forgot about that. Okay. That means I have an effective mod of 0. And I rolled a 16.
I rolled an 18.
Okay, you all did pretty well. And you just kind of look around for a little bit, and it's this pretty gigantic place. The ceilings are really far up, and there's like chandeliers and tall bookcases obscure your vision. Like, it's not all against the walls. It's like normally at a library there's different rows, and you assume nooks and crannies in all sorts of areas. And this big like mahogany desk up front, which Janai kind of goes back to, and Skara, you feel a cold shiver along your spine.
Oh, no, why?
But that's it. It doesn't really seem that out of the ordinary. You think it might just be, I don't know, you've never been in a place this rich before.
And I'm just like, I'm just having like an identity crisis. I'm just like, my potatoes were my whole life, but this is much more than potatoes.
You can probably find books about potatoes. There might be like potato encyclopedias.
My God.
Books on potato breeding.
Potatoes.
The life and art of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys just
The
like
sensuous potato. Oh, I totally am.
Are you trying to get me to let you free? Because it's not going to work. I'm never letting you free.
Sometimes I'm unable to tell if you're like actually saying this to each other.
Potato fancy.
No. You can't. You won't be able to do it, Tlawyn.
The Potato Inquirer.
No.
Janai is still kind of hovering nearby-ish, and she's kind of looking on fairly placid, but
And there's literature too. A Tale of Two Potatoes.
Okay.
Pride and potatoes.
And then like I feel the cold shiver again, and I'm like, best behavior. So I just like shut my mouth, and I like just like squeeze Ben just a little bit harder.
So Janai kind of like waiting for an opening to speak again.
Oh, okay.
Kind
She's probably like, who the heck are these like country bumpkins that Parsons brought in?
She's still smiling gently right now.
Okay,
But she's saying, this, it can be fairly difficult, especially for a newcomer, to find things in this library. So, what you could do is, probably, the researchers that we have here working today, might like some help on what they're working on. Like, I have something that if you help me, I could help you. And I can't take away too much of my time, of course, but I could, if you're researching something specific. Here at House Amarim, we have a, still in development divination magic that we're currently testing out, and that might help you with your research. Like, if you have a specific question, I can perform the spell, and then you get a bit of information that relates to your question.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So also, I know I have my researcher in my features and traits. So looking on
I mean,
an SRD thing, it says that when you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where and from whom you can obtain it. So would that just mean like I can find sources on things in the library more easily, or how do we implement that in practice?
It might depend on what you're looking for, and also where you're looking for it. I mean, part of that, you don't really know the city, and you haven't really learned where libraries are or where people who know things are yet. I mean, if you wanted to, for example, use that ability and try to figure out stuff about poison, it might just mean like you know that Parse is an expert on poison and you know you can go to him for
Oh,
help for
right.
things. I don't know. It would depend. That's my answer. But Parse kind of comes up to you and he says in a low voice, it might be good to take her up on the offer. You don't have to tell her what we're looking into, but it would be useful. I don't know when the next time we'd be able to come back here would be. We might have to go through a longer process, so might be useful to focus on the, well, you know, the issue at
Well, yeah,
at Nazari Kai's place.
and in the
Yes, because I'm not sure exactly how much I can figure out today on my own. I'll try my best. But if you also worked on that problem, that would be good.
yeah. So, I mean, my thought was I would start by trying to see if I could just like find, because I mean I think seeing if I can find background information could be good too, but just like I was thinking if I could find background information on the family of the dead guy and like any recent events or anything that there might be things recorded, and maybe see if I can find any information about like the symptoms and like any magic or whatever that could produce the results that we saw and the magic items as well. Although if I'm looking up the magic items, I guess I would be looking up a ring that follows people. But those are
The
the things I
necklace.
wanted to look. What?
It was the
It
necklace.
was a necklace that followed you, but
I got that wrong in the letter too. Oops.
I didn't catch that.
I can change that. But yeah.
But also, so it might be a good idea for us to like brainstorm stuff to ask this magical
Yeah.
device.
But that was the stuff I wanted to see if I could find any books that had information on that to start with.
I'm trying to think if maybe I didn't set this up clearly. Janai was saying that she could use some help with something, and then after that,
Yeah, they would help us search for things, right?
yeah, and
So we can't look at the books yet.
I mean, if you want to, you could wander off and look at the books on your own or something.
Yeah, but that would be the equivalent of just like walking into the stacks and like hoping you find what you need rather than like using the quote unquote catalog to like search for your specific.
Yeah, well, the other thing is,
whatever.
Janai probably would have explained this to you. It would be strange if she just started explaining this to you right now, so I'm going to assume that she did it in the past. But the divination magic that she spoke of, it's still in development, so it kind of spits out a random fact that relates to your question. So it's a little unpredictable. It can be a little unclear. You know, it's kind of like looking through this big database of all these different texts, and it finds one that is related either very much or just a little bit to the question, and it gives you like an uncontextualized snippet of information.
Oh my god, this is exactly like searching in like WorldCat or something.
Excellent.
I've experienced this. I could just be like, come in as an NPC, be like, okay, here's my library skills at work.
I mean, there is kind of a reason why I was thinking of naming this episode or this session the Library Trials.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. It's filled with libraries. Libraries.
Okay, so we would get like the snippet, and then we could like find the actual book after that, after we have a snippet from the book, in other words.
It's not clear that you'd be able to actually find the book.
Well, okay, but I guess we start with that, and then we go out into the stacks. Okay, so we need to ask about Mr. Dead Guy.
We're gonna have an us powwow rather than an in-game powwow. We aren't like actually sitting down on the floor being like, okay.
Okay, so about the dead guy, just like right in
Yeah,
front of
I mean,
you.
we could do that using do that using my message cantrip. I think doesn't that allow somebody to? I think it allows somebody to respond. Let me look.
I can just respond to you with the made-up language that we made up when we were children. Iwe Anke Ixpe Ine Igpe Atinle. I think I did that right.
Okay, yeah, it says the target hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. Apparently, I have to point my finger at the target. So I guess I was pointing at everybody when I was talking earlier.
You're just like,
like, point. Okay, so we talk about dead guy, right? Point at other person. Okay, so we talk about dead guy, right? Anyway, we'll just have a point fest.
I'm sure none of this looks weird.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm assuming Parse will actually kind of do more of the research about the poison itself, unless we want to do that too, because he would probably know more about like what the colors mean and whatever.
Yeah,
I figure
he just suggested like the divination magic. It's kind of like you can concentrate on a problem you're trying to solve, and it will come back with something. So he's just kind of he was suggesting to focus on, you know, the whole problem of the dead guy in general.
Oh.
So
I get
tempted
it
to
now.
just focus on cute archers instead.
Oh no.
What if like all three of us approach it and we're all thinking different things? Will it be like, okay, well, I guess since we have three people coming here, we'll have to use like and, you know, like the operator and, so it'll be like dead guy and cute archer people and like what, I don't know, potatoes.
Hey, we have the same thought.
Oh dear.
Okay, let's not do that. Okay, that makes more sense, Emily, because I was like, wait.
I'm going to try Googling dead guy, cute archer,
Oh no.
and potato and just see if I get any results. I have 2 results.
Yay! Are either of them relevant?
Let's see. One of them is from something called NPC Maker, Kupo Games.
That sounds legit.
And the Google thing says, just your friendly neighborhood dead guy. And then later on, there's things that says potato, and then later, a cute archer, smirk. Let's see what happens if I click on
No, don't
No.
do it.
That's how you get viruses, Ben.
Okay, yeah,
So
I
yeah,
guess I didn't get the divination thing.
Yeah,
but
no,
when you explained it.
I was starting to be afraid that I hadn't explained it well enough.
Hmm. Now I do. It's like, I guess, actual divination. Okay, well, I say we help these fine folk.
Yeah, I guess.
Fly's
Well,
like,
I just like, okay.
if I have nothing
Or-
else to do.
I just want to move on with this. You guys
Unless
keep-
you have something else you want to ask about.
anything that I want to add?
Like, was there a different thing you wanted to get divination about?
No. I just want to move on.
Okay, moving on.
I'm like, I thought you guys.
So,
I know we should ask about the plot thing, but like that's just like somebody who's no longer alive anyway, and the archer is like still alive, so
well, I guess you can do what you want.
I won't. Why would this library have anything that would help on that anyway?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the books are old, so it might just be talking about cute guys that are now old and dead. And that wouldn't help you much. Anyway.
Yay!
I could just make songs about them.
Okay, so we agreed to help her.
Okay.
It was Janai, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Is that
okay,
her
so-
name? Okay,
so
I wrote
do-
it down.
So do we ask questions separately, or is it one question for all of us?
One for all of you.
Okay.
So you agree to help her, and she kind of brings you over closer to this big desk that's in kind of the front of the library, and you see that it's more of a work desk, and on top of it is this big model of a map, and it's kind of like an oval-shaped model of Aramyth and the surrounding countries. And
Cool.
let me see, I'm
Ooh.
going to send that.
Ooh,
Ooh, we has map?
we has thing to look at?
So it basically looks like that, except it's kind of, colored variously according to, water and terrain and everything.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, it reminds me just slightly of Europe and North Africa.
It looks like two hands making the heart symbol, but upside down.
Aw.
Do you see it?
Now I will never be able to unsee it.
Aw. They love each other, maybe.
Are we in the Northern Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere?
You're in the southern hemisphere.
Okay, so up is hot and down is cold.
Yes.
Okay.
And she kind of shows you this, and it's a pretty big oval tablet. And she
Yeah.
explains that once it's infused with magic, it'll be kind of like a real-time map that takes daily reports from employees on where they are in their route, if there are any issues in their sector, things that might affect trade, like bandits in the area or roads in need of repair, and all of that info would go back into the map to form a kind of trade Doppler radar.
Okay, so you want me to sing at it?
No, that's the
No.
No.
She also wouldn't have used the term Doppler radar because that's not a thing in her world, but I used it to make it easier to picture.
Can I look at the map using my Arcana skill and see if I pick up anything? Or is it not magic at all anyway?
Sometimes I think you confuse that skill with detect magic.
Okay. I don't entirely know what the skill's actually supposed to do, so...
Well, I think it's more like knowledge about magic in general. Like, there's knowledge about history. It doesn't let you see if something is history.
I want to roll versus history to see if this is history.
I mean, you know about the different types of magic and different things that magic can do, but I don't know. I don't want to conflate it too much with specific abilities like detect magic or identify, which would consume spell slots and things like that.
Okay. So it'd be more like I could work out that like what she's talking about is a thing that is possible in theory rather than like noticing anything about this specific map.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what you'd want to notice specifically about it.
I don't know, just to see if it's actually what she says it is.
Because, I mean, it's going to be much more advanced magic than you've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, this is probably like super mega awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like I could roll versus Arcana to discuss the theory behind the map intelligently with her.
If you wanted to.
Sure, I want to sound impressive. So
He rolls a 2.
So she says like impressive things to my... Oh no, I rolled nice. I rolled... Okay, so that's a plus... I rolled an unnatural 20.
Okay.
Unnatural.
So
I try to say smart things.
Yeah, you engage her in some conversation about this, and she seems pleasantly surprised, pleased.
So in order to channel the energies through the thalamular bezoar field, do you have to interpolate the trigrammatron through the feng shui matrix, or are you able to invoke a trans-spiritual, astral, ethereal, Kabbalistic entity in order to de-emphasize the hermetic flux?
I have no idea what that just said.
I'm going to pretend that made sense, and like she kind of yeah, but you rolled high, so I'm pretending that you actually said something that makes sense to magic.
Yeah.
So
I used words.
Yeah, so she is pleased by your knowledge, and she kind of smiles and puts a finger to her lips, but she is kind of like, well, I can't give away what it is, or like how exactly we get it to work because it's company property, but maybe you could get a job here sometime.
Would the job involve singing?
No, I'm afraid not. It's a library.
Audiobooks? The level of audiobook technology is just you hire a bard to sing the book at you.
Yeah, for like the illiterate people who can't read. They just have a bard sing it to them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, with your library card, you can You can loan out a book, a magazine, a bard to sing at you. Borrow them for an hour at a time.
I'm a library item. You can check me out.
Oh, wank. Okay, cool. So how are we helping you with this project, I ask?
Well, I've finished working on it, but we want it to be like a standalone table. And it's pretty heavy, and we need to put the legs in.
And I'm just like, there's like a moment where I'm like, this is all I'm useful for. Well, okay.
So, 2 people will probably need to actually be lifting the map panel, and while one person kind of fits in the legs.
And you also need a person to sing an inspiring working song?
No, that's not necessary.
And I'm like, I'm a strong person. Can I trust to release you now, Tlawyn?
You've just been holding on to him this entire time.
Yes, I have. Do you promise to be on your best behavior?
I'm always on my best behavior.
And I'm just like, Anyway, so I volunteered to help lift it.
Okay. She kind of discreetly gets you a chair, so you have a little bit of a step up to be able to hold it up.
Well, yeah, I'm more dexterous than I am strong, so I guess I can put things in things.
Bly and Skara can roll strength checks.
Okay, let's see how well and or poor we do. I guess I did okay.
I got an 18.
Yeah, I rolled a 10.
A 10.
I attest it to being like, whoa, this chair is kind of wobbly.
Yeah.
And the map is also very heavy.
And you're distracted by watching Tlawyn.
So
to make sure he's on his best behavior.
Oh, man.
So Bly kind of like effortlessly lifts her half, and it
And I'm
takes
just
you
like,
a little by surprise, and you fumble with it a little bit, but since Bly is keeping a hold of her end fairly well, you manage to not drop it. You manage to like keep it
good.
up. You just fumble a little bit, but it's fine.
Glad we did not drop that.
On me. And have me take even more damage.
Okay, so then Tlawyn can go ahead and roll a dexterity check.
Okay. I rolled a 21.
Oh, man.
This is a really nice die.
I wonder about that. You, like, fairly easily manage to fit one of the 3 legs in. And then you can roll again for the next one.
Oh, okay. I rolled a 17.
You still do it. You get the second leg in.
And how many? Were there 3? 4?
Yes. 3.
2 more.
Okay. Oh, not 1.
Nat 1. Okay, so after getting the first 2 without any problem, I don't know exactly what happens. You, like, slip on the marble floor because it's fairly slick and just kind of accidentally bang your head into the map. And the 2 people lifting make another strength check to see if you keep holding it up.
Oh.
I rolled very poorly.
Oh, man. I rolled a 13.
I rolled a
poorly.
6.
Okay. So Bly is just like barely managing to keep it up, but Skara does
Yeah, no.
drop it. Like,
Sorry.
and uh, it kind of slips from Bly's fingers as well then, and it makes a fairly loud crash on the floor. Janai winces, and she's a little bit like, that's fairly delicate equipment. And she checks it over and she says, it looks like it's okay right now, but I hope that doesn't happen again.
Oh no.
Okay.
We're unskilled labor.
Wait, are we gonna try again?
Yep, I mean, the...
Okay, wait, I can help.
Do you want me to try singing this time?
I'm so annoyed because
No, I can bless you guys. I can bless up to 3 people, and you guys get a D4 to your roll. So I think it's probably. Is it only once? I'm not sure how long it lasts.
It
says up to 1 minute,
although
and I just have to sprinkle you with holy water.
Although it looks like bless is just attack roll or saving throw, not necessarily skill check.
Oh, that's right.
It was a good thought, though.
But we could use the bardic inspiration.
Okay, so I guess I could.
I'll take a bardic inspiration.
Okay, Bly, do you want one or should I?
Considering I rolled a 10 and then a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, Bly, do you want inspiration?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just
And
use
how does it work again?
two of them. You get an extra D6 to add to your roll. I think. Well, you
we add it after we roll.
Yeah.
Or...
First you roll, and then you can see how you did. You can't ask me whether like you succeed or not.
Okay.
It's just like if you roll a 10 and you think you should do a little better, you can then roll your inspiration die.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think once you've used it, it's used up, and how long does it last?
10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh man.
So if you don't want to use it, you still have it for 10 minutes, but yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But I think you only get to use it once within those.
Let's try again, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. So you both have an inspiration die.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Oh, I rolled a lot much better on the strength check. I rolled a 22.
Oh, I do. I rolled 21.
Wow, you are, after like, I don't know, seeing that fall kind of shook you, and you're like, we have to try a lot better. And so you just like hefted up,
just like,
and you are holding on to it tightly.
And
now
22 is an awesome roll.
Yeah. Then Tlawyn has to get that last leg in there.
Okay.
Oh, are the other ones in there?
Yeah, they stayed in. The thing kind of tipped and crashed on the floor, but it just has to get the last one in there.
Okay, I rolled a 10.
A 10.
We're holding it real good, though.
So, like, to do this thing, like putting the leg in, you kind of have to get down on the floor and kind of put it in, and you just can't seem to get it that well, and you accidentally whack, like, Skara in the leg. So people rolling strength roll it again.
Okay. I'm going to add my inspiration to this roll. Okay. An 11.
With the inspiration?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll add mine. Well, I rolled a 16. Should I add inspiration to make up for cards? I only rolled a 2. So 18.
Okay. So, kind of like the first time, Skara fumbles a little bit, but Bly manages to hold on like she is holding on tight enough that it gives Skara enough time to kind of like get a good grip on it again.
I think this standing on a chair to do this is just not working very well.
Well, you
At least I
also
don't have to put the legs in. I wouldn't even be able to reach. I'd be like, eh.
you also accidentally whacked her with the leg. Okay, so that leg still isn't in there.
Come on, you only have one more to go, man.
Nobody's singing an inspirational song at me.
You can do it. Tom.
Well, that was better. I rolled a 15.
Okay, you finally managed to get it in there and like get it all in place, and like the two people lifting it can lower it down and it stands and it's not broken and everything's good.
And nobody had to take damage?
Right.
Except for our like own like mental well-being.
Janaya lets out like the softest sigh of relief and smiles brightly at all of you and says, "Well, thank you for the help with that."
When I write the epic song version of this, it's going to be a big major battle.
Excellent. I look forward to it. And as your reward, if you want, I can cast that research spell for you if you'd like.
We're like, yes, please.
Okay. I promise not to think about cute archers while you cast it. Sorry, Laura, I talked over you.
Oh, I just said before we mess up again.
Oh.
I bet like before this when like Parsis was contacting them and they're like, yeah, sure, you can come, and he's like, oh, one thing, I want to bring some friends, I guess you would call them, and they're like, what kind of friends? And he like describes us, and they're and then they're like, you know, we have just the meal task to give them.
I'm kind of curious how he would have described us.
They're like, perfect, we could have used some free labor around here. Oh, so we take her up on her offer.
All right, then you just have to focus on the problem you're trying to solve, and I will cast the spell, and then the divination will come through me. I will tell you what the snippet says.
Dead guy with magic jewels and weird growthy thing.
Okay.
I assume you're saying that in your mind.
Yes, that was in my mind concentrate voice.
Does inside your mind always sound like that?
Yes, it does.
I want to meet the cute guys again.
Don't think about the cute guys. You have a job.
Okay. So
I like in my mind's eye, I'm probably like replaying that day in the tomb where I just kind of like was like, nope, this isn't okay. And then I like, you know, but I'm like secreting a glance every now and then, and like you know how I notice that the guy has like guard stuff on him, and you know, of course the ring and the like poison and his arm being all like bleh, and then the like necklace, And I'm like, all that's in my head. And I'm just like, dude, who is this? What's going on? How is this guy related to my faith at all?
I'm like, why did he die? Was something suspicious? Is anyone cute involved in the murder?
What about you, Bly? What are you thinking?
I'm
She's just like, man, I'm hungry.
I'm thinking about dumplings.
And then we just get a cookbook.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking about the dead guy.
Okay.
I'm just like, dead guy.
Okay, so you're all focusing on this problem that you're up against, and Janai kind of performs the spell, and her eyes go white. She sounds like she's reading from a text, and she says, "For worshippers of Nazra are found across the lands, though their worship takes different forms. In Thirfen, there's even a druidic cult called the Hands." And then, like, her eyes kind of turn back to normal. She looks a little blank, like she doesn't remember what she just said. And she says, well, I hope that was helpful. Although I know this kind of magic can be a little sporadic, but if you need more help, I'm sure some of the other researchers around today would have different tasks for you.
So, druidic group called the Hands. Is that hands making a heart shape by any chance?
I'm sorry?
Like on the map?
Yes.
Yeah, she didn't know what you're talking about.
I don't need to actually say that.
Yes, continuing on.
So you were saying that it was a druidic cult?
Well, we know that there is such a cult, and it is apparently relevant in some way.
Okay, interesting.